Hey, what's going on, guys? Alex here, and in this video I want to share my thoughts, my take on things when it comes to cold calling versus marketing, right? I want to premise it with marketing is extremely important. Marketing is pretty much 80% of business, right? The popular Peter Drucker, who is one of the most popular entrepreneurs, once said all business is marketing and innovation, right? So, but he was also including sales in that. So, but I guess my motto and what I want to kind of the 2 points that I want to make, and I'm gonna go a little deeper into this topic right now. But the points that I want to make is that cold calling or sales sculpts you, and then the marketing frees you, right? So first cold calling to sculpt you and sculpt your skills, and then marketing to free you and scale and take you out of the equation if you want. And I'll explain more what that means. But here's what I see what most investors do. And again, my experience comes from working with the number one fix and flipper in the New England area. He also does deals all over the country. He fixes and flips over 100 homes a year. Then he has a brokerage where they do over like 300 brokerage transactions a year. And that was probably a couple years ago, so they've probably grown since then, okay? And I would I had hundreds of phone calls with people that wanted to invest in him, in his education and his partnering program that he had. And I would have multiple conversations with other investors, other brokerages that wanted to model what he was doing, and so on and so forth. So I knew what people were doing out there, right? I knew his students on a personal level. Like you know what I mean? They would request me on Facebook. I just had a good handle as far as what his business looked like. And I shouldn't say a good handle, but I had a great perspective. I learned a lot from that being in that position. And what I've noticed was most people, first of all, they either have a marketing budget or they don't have a marketing budget, right? And for the ones that did have a marketing budget, they did have some money to spend into marketing. So the numbers with direct, so first of all, they would send out direct mail. Some of the cheaper stuff would be like post bandit signs. Some other stuff they would do were like Facebook ads, Google pay-per-click. What were some other ones that were the main things? Well, here are the three main ones. The three main ones for generating leads that are off market to close investment deals is basically direct mail. It's online ads, whether it's Facebook ads or Google pay-per-click, and it's cold calling. But a lot of these guys, they hire like 1,000 calls a day, which is a virtual assistant way of doing it, hiring multiple virtual assistants to make the outbound calls for you. And I guess what I want to say is I feel like most people spend money in marketing first when they don't necessarily have the skill set to convert the deals, right? So let's say they throw, and keep in mind, here are the numbers. Here are the numbers. The numbers for if you want to get a lead, just a lead, right? Not even a contact. Contact's when you speak to the actual homeowner on the phone. Just to get a lead, meaning somebody's raising their hand to call them or to reach out to them. It's about $400 a lead for direct mail. And for Facebook ads, it's probably a little over $200 a lead. That was a couple of years ago. It's probably grown since then. It's more expensive just to get a lead with those platforms. Not saying the numbers don't make sense. When you're earning $5,000, $10,000, $15,000 per profit on a deal, you can spend $400 for a lead, right? If it takes you 10 leads to get it, whatever the numbers are, the numbers still work. The problem is when you're starting out, or if you haven't done a deal yet, it's because you don't have the skill set to qualify a seller, to position yourself as the investor, to go ahead and book an appointment, to get the information that you need, to maybe even make a presentation in the home and get a contract. Maybe you don't even know what contract to use, and then when you get a contract, what to do after that, right? When you don't know all those other steps in the beginning, why would you spend money on marketing? Why would you spend money just to get a lead that you're not going to be able to convert at first? Yeah, if you keep going, like, all right, let's say the cheap way, right? The cheap way, I know a lot of people might post bandit signs, right? You still got to spend money on bandit signs. Just throwing that out there. Then you spend a lot of time posting those bandit signs, and then, those bandit signs end up getting taken down. So you got to buy more and rinse and repeat. And let's say you get a few leads, right? You get people calling you, which is great. Those are great leads. I'm not going to lie. The guy that I used to work with, he used to do billboards, which is, another version of bandit signs, but those were good leads. It was just expensive for the bandit signs. The billboards that he would do. But, all right, let's say you get a few leads, right, from bandit signs, and yeah, you make some contacts. You might even get to the point where you get better at talking to them, and you might even send an offer, assuming you know how to send an offer that meets their needs. What if you suck at the conversion aspect as far as when you go into the point? I remember me like being terrible on a seller appointment and really not knowing what I was doing, and luckily I didn't spend any money to get to that point. But I'm just saying, people that are spending all that time and money just to get to that point when they haven't honed the skill set yet, it's not a smart way to go about it, right? Even driving for dollars, how much time does that take? That takes hours. And then what do most people do when they find a house that's vacant? They probably send them a piece of mail, right? And hope to hear back. Or if they're more proactive, then they'll actually look up the phone number, which takes time, pay for the cell phone record, and then eventually call them. All I'm saying is, why not start with the free leads that are already advertising that they have a house that they're interested in either selling or renting, right? The for sale by owners or the for rent by owners. And in minutes, you can scrape leads and just pick up the phone and call them, while you're improving your skill set as far as how to have a phone call, an intelligent adult to adult conversation about potentially solving their problems, where they take you seriously and want to book an appointment with you, and you sending them some options and then getting a contract signed. And then not only that, once you get a contract signed, there's more steps. There's getting your buyer systems in place, which I'm going to post more of, because that's really the step that I'm on, is really getting my buyer systems tweaked better, because that's been a problem in my system. I've gotten multiple contracts and I haven't closed. I've only closed one. But where was I going with that? So yeah, all I'm saying is sculpt your skill sets first. First sculpt with the cold calling, and then once you've gotten your systems in place, once you've gotten your confidence, you developed your own systems for conversations, developed your own script, right? You can borrow my script, which I posted a video on my Furbo script. I'll also eventually do one on my Fizbo script, and then I might even do one on expireds once I get to that point. Once I get to that point for expireds as well. And then you're gonna craft it to what you like saying and things like that. You're gonna craft it to your messaging and the way you want it to go, but it's still gonna be the system. You're gonna have your intro or agenda, where you position yourself and you get permission to ask questions, and then you ask the questions that you want to know, that you need to know, and then you eventually close to either a next call or to an offer or to an appointment. Right, and then you can have a system for your appointments as well, right? There's steps on that. You can have a system for appointments, where you walk in, you introduce yourself, you look at the home first, you build rapport with the seller, say nice things about the home, and then transition into presenting your options to them in an intelligent way, and then you have a one-page contract where you get it signed. You'll have your own systems for that, right? And it's going to take practice. Each one takes practice to get good at, right? And then once you get the contract signed, then you're gonna have a system for your buyer sides, right? So what I'm saying is, do all that stuff for free. You can do all that stuff for free. And then once you've sculpted, and that's called sculpting, you're sculpting yourself, because you're first cold calling, you're first focusing on the sales aspect, the conversion aspect, before you start spending money on the marketing. Now, when you've actually closed a deal or two or three, you have a few $1,000s in the bank, right? Probably tens of thousands in the bank if you close 3. Now you have some marketing budget. You have a marketing budget that you can use, right? And you started with 0. You started with nothing. Zero. So now that you have a marketing budget that you've earned from the business itself, just from your grit, from you sculpting your skill set, sculpting yourself, now you can throw some money into maybe direct mail or Facebook ads or Google pay-per-click or whatever you want. You can have other people do the bandit signs for you, or other people driving for dollars for you, pay them, right? Now you can spend some money without taking much of your time. Right, you get your time. You don't waste your time. You spent already your time sculpting yourself. Now you're sculpted, and you have some money in the bank, and you can unleash some marketing dollars out so that people are contacting you, making the conversion that much easier. Because if you can close deals with no marketing budget, it's going to be 10 times easier to close deals with a marketing budget. And my motto is first cold call, then market, right? First cold calling, then marketing. And cold calling sculpts you, while the marketing is what frees you. Because once you have a marketing budget, then you no longer have to do the cold calling. Eventually you can have other virtual assistants do the cold calling for you. And it's probably going to be better than hiring someone like 1,000 calls a day, because they might not be specific to your model, to the types of deals that you do. Yeah, so you should have calls that are already recorded, and then you can just hand them off to a virtual assistant, and they do it just the way you want them to do it, right? And now you're only going to be talking to the most motivated, to the ones that raise their hand and say yes or maybe. You're never going to be talking to the no's, because about 30 to 40% of the time they're going to say no. They're not going to be open to terms. But if you have a virtual assistant taking those no's, because you've already done that part and you have a marketing budget, you can pay them. Now you're only talking to the few that do want to do business with you, and you're unleashing marketing with hardly any of your time. You can use virtual assistants to send out the direct mail, to do your Facebook advertising, and now you got leads calling you. You got leads that other virtual assistants have cold call, and you're only dealing with the most motivated, and you're doing deals so much easier because you sculpted yourself. So again, this was just a video on the difference between cold calling and marketing. I personally think obviously all roads lead to marketing, but start with the cold calling, because that's what's going to sculpt you. That's what's going to sculpt your skill set. That's how you're going to really get the muscles that you need to be able to convert these leads once you unleash the marketing. All right, so I hope that helps, guys. Be sure to look out for my live seller calls. I'm posting them just about every Friday now, also the offer videos I'll start posting. I'm trying to be more consistent with those as well. So that's it. All right, thanks for watching, and look out for the next one.